Well, good evening, and welcome to the All Sports All Plays Network. This is Laker Talk One on One. All things Lakers. You've seen the greatest Lakers of all time on that one video, from Kobe to Shaq to Magic to Kareem. The list goes on and on. We're joined with some of my LA brothers out there in Southern California. My dude Jonathan Mathis. What's going on, John?
Hey, what's going on, Freddie? Man, I like this Lakers Talk 101 that you got going on. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm glad to be on this show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And my brother down here making his debut on the show tonight. Jeffrey, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me. Really excited to get talking about our lovely Lakers here shortly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And shout out to Big Baby Jonathan in the comments. Need to have you on, brother. A big Laker fan as well. You guys can start seeing this show come on a little bit more now lately because things are about to get heating up. We have coaching. We're looking for a coach right now. The draft is coming up soon. Free agency will be around the corner, and then hey, the season be right back around the corner before we even know it. As you guys know, you guys heard the report that the Lakers have, got a finalist of three head coaches. Terry Stotts is one, Kenny Atkinson is the second, and then my dude, um, Darvin Ham, the assistant coach for the Milwaukee Bucks. He's a part of that group. Jonathan, your thoughts? Do you like that those three have made it to the final round? Do you see another coach, or did you think there should have been another coach that moved on to the next round?
I'm not on board with that. I'm not on board with those three names. I don't think they fit what the Lakers need moving forward. Now, you guys know how I feel about it. Well, you do, Freddie. But I think the Lakers are not making a good choice here. I think they should hire Mark Jackson. And the reason they're not going to hire Mark Jackson, it's not because he's been blackballed. I'm tired of hearing about that. It's because they want a coach that they can manipulate, that they can control. They don't want a coach that's going to come in, have the input, say what goes on around the organization. They want somebody that they can be in power of, and they don't want to have a coach that they can empower. That's the problem with the Lakers. But I really like Mark Jackson. I think he will instill confidence in his players. I think he will profoundly make an impact on the team. I think he will reshape the culture. I think he will rebrand the franchise. That's definitely what they need. They definitely need a strong voice. They definitely need someone, with Mark Jackson's resume, and he definitely has it. He did a good job during his brief stint with the Golden State Warriors. No disrespect to Darvin Ham. I think Darvin Ham definitely has the championship pedigree because he knows how to win. He's done it as an assistant coach with the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not taking anything away from Kenny Atkinson. I don't think he got a fair deal with the Brooklyn Nets. He was a good coach, was able to relate to the young players, good at developing players and everything. But I just think that they should go the different route because the Lakers have gone through so many coaches, and I think they definitely should go with Mark Jackson. I think he fits what they need to do moving forward. I think he'll be a good coach for that team, and he will definitely make a huge difference for the Los Angeles Lakers.
So, Jeffrey, do you agree with Jonathan?
I mean, yeah, Mark Jackson is the obvious choice. I mean, hello. I mean, you think in the short term and as well as the long term. I look at this Lakers team. They don't have a draft. They don't have a first-round draft pick until 2025. You have to think about LeBron James. He's going into his age 38 season. Yes, we know that he averaged about 30 points a game in his year 19 season. The coach that's going to come in is going to inherit a complete mess, because you need someone that is going to be able to command the respect of the locker room. And I think that the last coach wasn't able to do that. And I think that it was a mistake that they didn't sign Jason Kidd to a longer extension, because I think Jason Kidd would have been just as good. So I think that Terry Stotts, out of all three of them, I think is the best option because he's had success. He's been a head coach. And I still think that from a player development standpoint, that he would probably be the best option among the three. But again, to my esteemed colleague's point over here, I think Mark Jackson is the obvious choice, but it is what it is. And it's just unfortunate, though, that the Lakers want to have someone that they can control, but you need to be able to have an A-type personality because the Lakers organization and the Lakers brand commands that. They need a big name. This isn't like the Orlando Magic or the Houston Rockets. This is the Lakers. There's a higher level of expectation when it comes to the Lakers and how they overall, and how they're going to be able to perform each year in and year out, honestly.
All right, so check this out, you guys. There's not a coach, there's not a Greg Popovich, there's not a Eric Spoelstra, there's not a Steve Kerr available right now. To me, you don't go with a Mark Jackson for the reason you haven't seen him in 8 years. And, I was on board for Mark Jackson at first, but really think about this. The game has changed within 8 years, you guys. Even when he was coaching, they said that, his offense was stagnant at times. And we are the team that don't need a stagnant offense because we have Russell Westbrook, who's probably still going to be with us next year. We need an offense with a lot of movement and with that can flow and they can run sets and they know what they're running. I don't have a problem. I have a problem if it's Terry Stotts. I don't want him as my coach. I don't want Kenny Atkinson as the coach. He's a development coach. We're not in the development stage right now. We're in the stage where we're a winning team, where we're a team that's trying to win a championship right now. I look at a guy of Darvin Ham. He's a respected assistant coach around the league. He's been assistant coach for 11 years now. He's assistant coach on the Lakers in about I think 2012 and 2013. So he's familiar with the organization. He knows about winning basketball. He's with the Milwaukee Bucks when they won the championship, when they made deep runs in the playoffs. So he knows how to, what to do when it takes to win basketball games and to win a championship. He's been around a superstar player and Giannis Antetokounmpo, so he knows how to manage superstars as well. So with that being said, this can be a situation like it's going on in Boston with a young coach that hey, they didn't go. Hey, a lot of people thought they was crazy when they went out and got that coach. But guess what? It turned out to be a great pick. And when they picked out, I can't think of his name, can't say his name right, so I'm not gonna say it. When they picked him. So why not go out and get somebody who's not a retread, who have not been, have not failed the first time, and go get somebody that is new, a new voice, a new blood in the game, and they can be just as impactful.
But can I ask
If
you a
not
question
more.
though? Can I just ask you an honest question though?
Hmm.
As the Lakers, I think the Lakers' window to win a championship is over. I think it's over. I think Father Times are defeated. I think you look at Anthony Davis, a 5-year, $190 million guy who's missed over 40% of the games that he was eligible to play. I mean, do you think we are honestly starting to think of a rebuild? I mean, I just want to ask you guys that question. I know we're just trying to pull an audible real quick, but let's just be real.
Yeah, because these players are getting older. They're not getting any younger, particularly LeBron James. He's 37 years old now.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis has shown that he can't stay healthy for a full season. That's concerning because this guy was not only acquired to win now, but he was supposed to be the franchise cornerstone of your franchise, someone that you could build around, and it hasn't worked. It hasn't just worked out for the Lakers. So yes, you could very much be talking about a potential rebuild with this Laker team. Here's the thing, though: Laker fans don't want to hear about a rebuild because Laker fans are very impatient. They want to win now. This is a fan base that like to win now. They're spoiled. And I can tell you that being here in Southern California, these fans out here are spoiled. They don't like losing seasons. Everyone panics and throws a fit when the Lakers have a losing season. And the Lakers were inferior this year with all the pieces that they had. I don't think Russell Westbrook was the right fit. We gave it a chance and it just didn't work out. It was an experiment that exploded in the Lakers' face. LeBron James battled with health issues this season. We questioned his durability and his ability to stay healthy. And we all know the best ability is availability. And LeBron wasn't always available this year. Anthony Davis, another one. I call him Mr. Glass because he's so fragile and he easily breaks down on you. So I mean, yes, to your point, I think you can say that the Lakers are staring at a rebuild. I know that's hard to say for most Laker fans, but I mean, we got to face reality here. This is a Laker team that I keep saying over and over and over again. They got to get younger. They got to get some fresh legs on that franchise. These guys now they're running up and down the floor hard. They're pushing the tempo, and a lot of those Laker players they showed last season they can't keep up with a lot of those guys, and it showed.
I disagree, and I'm gonna tell you why I disagree. It's because I know if you have LeBron and AD, when they're on the court, they have a chance. Um, Next year is going to be a big year for Anthony Davis. This summer is a very important summer for him because he's the factor. If he's healthy, he can offset a lot of our struggles, our weaknesses. Let's take for example our defense. He cleans up on a lot of our defensive end. When we break down defensively, guess what? He's normally there to clean it up. He's our interior scorer. He can score on. He's a three-dimensional scorer. He can score on all three levels. He's that great. LeBron James makes him better. But once they figure out Russell Westbrook and depending on what role players they fill out this roster with is going to determine a lot of that. But one good thing that they're in great one position that they're good at is right now is now that I more than I think about it, our best thing is to keep Russell Westbrook on the books for another year, and then next year when that $47 million come off the books, guess what we can do, you guys? We can build around LeBron and AD. We can go get them a third member to join the team. We can go get somebody, a young star, to build around them. Because, I mean, even if LeBron is averaging 25 a game, that's still good. But we just need AD to take that next step or whoever that next star might be. But I can't say that we should automatically just go to rebuild right now. And, honestly, I really just don't see that as an option right now.
So here's the pushback that I'm going to give you, and I think that you make some very valid points. Yes, they're going to be on the books for 47 million. I still think they will still be able to trade him, but they're going to have to pick up a certain portion of the salary if they are going to trade Russell Westbrook. The market is very low for him right now. So if they're going to trade him, they're coming from a position of weakness. They're going to be coming from a position of weakness because they have no draft capital. They don't have a lot of flexibility to be able to make the changes for the roster for them to be able to contend. When I look at, you look at Denver with Murray coming back next year. We don't know if Michael Porter's going to be healthy. They're still going to be young. Phoenix still has a good core. We'll see what happens with the whole restricted free agent thing with DeAndre Ayton, but they're still young. You look at the top 3 or 4 teams. I mean, even Golden State. I mean, you still got Jordan Poole. You still got Andrew Wiggins coming off the bench, and they're younger. So I think that to wait another year for when LeBron's going to be 39, I don't think is necessarily the most advantageous thing. And so I think for them, they're going to have to, assuming Anthony Davis can be healthy, they're going to have to find ways to be able to be creative if they're not able to get Russell Westbrook off the books.
So let me ask you a question. This question: this trade rumor has been speculated, been rumored, and it's been sprinkled around the media for a week or two now. Chicago, they have Zach LaVine. There have been reports that he might want south. They'll be crazy to take him, but if they would take Westbrook, maybe a THT, a Kendrick Nunn, or somebody like that, and we would have to give our later draft picks up too for Zach LaVine, would you do that?
To get Zach LaVine, what is Russell Westbrook involved in that trade, or is it just
Russ,
trying to get?
You have Russ, THT, and Nunn's probably going to be a part of that, and you have some, our later draft round picks like 2025.
That's a steep price.
Yeah. So here's my thing: if you're the Lakers, if you try to get a trade, you want to try to get a trade where you can win now, but still try to get some draft capital to try to improve your team for the long haul as well. So it's kind of like a catch-22, right? There needs to be an equilibrium. There needs to be one end where you need to consider to try to maximize LeBron James and Anthony Davis. assuming Anthony Davis can stay healthy. Because you're right, if those two are healthy, those two are the top 5 players in the league if they're healthy, and they make up for a lot of inefficiencies offensively. But I think the second part is you also need to think about after LeBron James as well. So that coach that ever comes in through the top 3, that's why I think Terry Stotts is probably the best one, because he's had success and he's actually taken teams to the playoffs and actually had some decent success with an undermanned Portland team. So, I mean, if I can get Zach LaVine, yes, I would, but I'm just not sure if it's feasible.
Unfortunately, brother, I want to let you know, wake up and smell the coffee. The Lakers do not care about their future. I mean, we could all say that when they traded all their young pieces. They say future. What's that? They don't care about that. They're all about right now.
They're all about right now, but every move they made has backfired. And
yes,
has not.
We can say it have though, you guys. Let's be honest. And I know it sucks sitting back watching this year. I hated watching this year. I really did. But we've seen the Lakers go all in before to win championships. And we won a championship. I know I know to us, we want to see a three-peat. But we did win one, and it shows that it's hard to win this league. And we see
that was a perfect storm though.
Huh?
That was a perfect storm. Because I don't think that they would have won the championship if there was no break. I don't think they would have won.
Well, you say that, but we weren't the hottest team at that point. We just beat the Clippers. And we beat Milwaukee.
I will say this, though. That was the hardest championship to win. Why? Well, for one, they were confined to the NBA bubble in Orlando. Yes, there was no travel. Yes, they had time to rest up. But that was a tough adjustment for a lot of those teams and a lot of those players. So I will say that was not very easy, an easy championship.
And brothers, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a man. And you mean to tell me I'm a man that I gotta be around a whole bunch of men for 2 to 3 months? I would have been just like Lou Williams, going out there to find me some breasts and thighs at Magic City. I would have been.
Yeah, Magic City, but the wings that I do here are fire though. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, but hey, I want some other wings. I want the thighs. I want the breasts. Hey, I'm sorry, but let's get back on the point. Let's move to our next topic. So we have Rob Palinka. He's running. He's our general manager. He was Kobe Bryant's agent. God rest Kobe. God rest in peace to Kobe Bean Bryant, his daughter, and everybody in that tragic accident. But he was Kobe's agent. I believe that's the only reason why he got the job. He wouldn't be an agent, no a general manager nowhere else. I believe that when Kobe was alive, that he was kind of helping Rob Palinka into a lot of those decisions. So now I believe he's lost. Um, do you guys think it's time for Jeanie Buss to move on from Rob Palinka? And whoever want to go first can take the first shot.
Yes, and yes. I think that the Russell Westbrook trade was by far one of the worst trades in NBA history. And I think it was obvious. I mean, that right there should be a cause for you to lose your job. Russell Westbrook is box office. He's super talented. He's super athletic, but he just doesn't fit into an offense. He's a stat pattern. He makes a triple-double look overrated. They had a chance to get DeMar DeRozan. You could have got DeMar DeRozan. You could have kept Caruso. You could have kept KCP, and you could have kept Kyle Kuzma. Now, you think about it. And you could have gotten Buddy Hield. You mean to tell me with Buddy Hield, DeRozan, LeBron, and AD, I'm not saying championship, but I'm saying that is at least a top 5 team in the West. And it was just, and you gave up so much to get so little. I mean, that trade alone, man, that just doesn't make me feel easy. He's got to go.
Yes, you gave up so much for a has-been player, for a player who seemed washed up and a player who just didn't fit into this system, right? A player who made the Lakers far worse. And we saw that last season. That much was evident from what we witnessed last season with this Laker team. Look, I think Russell Westbrook messed with the chemistry. You said it best, my friend. They could have kept so much. They they could have held on to a lot of those pieces. And hey, we might be sitting here talking about the Lakers possibly playing in the Western Conference Finals right now had they kept those players.
Facts.
We don't know. But I think Rob Palinka is a puppet on strings here. I think there's too many people involved in that Lakers front office. Trust me, he's not the only voice in that Lakers front office. He's not the only one pulling the trigger on a lot of these moves and these dumbfounded, unforeseen trades and everything. There's someone telling him behind the scenes what to do. There's so many people in that front office right now. Kurt Rambis, Linda Rambis, I don't know what the hell she's doing, having a voice in the organization. But this is the problem with the Lakers. There's too many people involved, and there should only be one or two people making the personnel decisions. But I think Rob Palinka is not sure of himself. He really doesn't have that front office experience. He was an agent, but being an agent and representing players is one thing, but running a front office is another. And it's not the easiest thing to do to be a team executive and oversee, an organization. I think Magic Johnson played a big role in why the Lakers, were doing well as far as bringing on collective talent to, try to strengthen the roster and bolster their offense and make things better for them for the betterment of the team. But Rob Palinka has to go. I think he's part of the problem, but Jeanie Buss is the bigger problem.
So just real quick to that point, right? You can, just because you're a good salesperson doesn't mean you're going to be a good sales manager, right? So yes, you can sell, but can you manage the salespeople? And I think for Rob Palinka, I think he was a decent salesman, but I just think he's just a terrible sales manager. And I think that for Rob Palinka as a manager, you have to be able to just understand the landscape and you got to make right decisions. You have to hit on those decisions, and especially for the Lakers, man. But I don't think I think it's also him, but I also think it's also coaching. I still think that roster was still good enough to at least get in the top 8. There's no excuse why they couldn't get. All you had to do was get in the 10th place. I mean, there's a lot of blame to go around.
Well, my brother, coaching is the last of my blame. To be honest with you, I believe the Lakers did Frank Vogel dirty.
I can
Um,
see.
I hate even when they fired him. I hated how that process went. It shows that's tacky, and we're better than that. And to me, Dr. Jerry Buss is rolling over in his grave, just because how we're conducting business. And one of the weaknesses that Jeanie Buss have is loyalty. She's too loyal at times. We see changes need to be made in the front office. Linda Rambis, Kirk Rambis, Phil Jackson. Why is he back? I mean, come on, let them people go, Jeanie. I mean, if you're going to be the owner of this franchise, you and Rob Palinka, if that's going to be your general manager, need to sit down. You two need to create a game plan. You two need to put it together, and you two need to work it. That's how it go. We don't need too many cooks in the kitchen. I mean, somebody's gonna throw off in some type of ingredient, and I mean, when I eat my food, I want it to taste the same way every time. But
You sure
she
you're not a
and,
therapist?
and she
I felt good.
and she's too loyal to some players at time. I mean, we look at a Kyle Kuzma. We probably traded him a year too late. We probably should have traded him the year before when his trade value was so high. We see that same thing with THT. When we didn't want to trade him, we paid him that big contract. Everybody wanted him. Now we want to trade him. Guess what? Nobody seems too interested in him. So it just shows you how we do business. We do not do business the way we did when Dr. Jerry Buss or Jerry West was running the show. And Jeannie Buss, you got to stop trying to be like your daddy because you'll never be like your daddy. Your daddy was a special individual. He had him and Dr. Jerry Buss had a great working relationship. Them two together was like magic on ice. I mean, hey, so you gotta find your own style of way you want to run your business and stop trying to be like your father. You will never be like him. I'm sorry. I love Jeannie. I believe Jeannie's one of the. I believe she has the impact. She has the know-how to be one of the best owners in the NBA. I really do believe so. So she just and she's always had to be influenced. You guys seen this when she took over the Lakers from her brother. Who did she have to talk to? Kobe Bean Bryant and Irvin Magic Johnson. Um, so she had to be influenced. I mean, that's just who they are. Just hopefully they get their thing together. We have Michael. He commented on here. For some reason, these comments are coming blocked, but I can see it. The Lakers did Frank Vogel dirty, no question about it. But my choice is Darvin Ham. If not, Quinn Snyder, but we'll see. Hey, I think Darvin Ham's a good coach. I said it before. I believe what I'm hearing is from LA. I don't know what you guys are hearing, but LeBron likes him. That he's the leading candidate so far right now. But we'll see.
LeBron needs to stay out of personnel decisions this time. Like, respectfully to
Yeah,
LeBron, he
yeah,
needs to stay out of it.
he definitely does. He's not the GM. He's a
No,
player.
he's not. No, he's not. I mean, he has cachet, but just this debacle, man. His sporting capital has subsided. Like, yeah, it's done.
Yeah,
It's
he
done.
no longer has those privileges of a GM.
Yep. Bye bye.
Well, I think LeBron is going to stay out of it because I don't think LeBron wants to have that heat, because hey, it's different. We all know how it's different by putting it on that purple and gold. You can have a bad season in Chicago. You can have a bad season in Detroit or anywhere else. But with the Lakers, hey, and this is one of the things Russell Westbrook should have known that the Laker fans will come at you. The media is gonna come at you. This is what happens when you have a bad season. And if anybody should have known that, it should have been Russell Westbrook because hell, he grew up there. He was raised there. He was a Laker fan.
Yeah, man.
But that leads to the next question: how much power should LeBron James have in making these decisions with the coach, with through free agency or whatever decision that's going to be made this offseason?
I'll let you go.
Zero, zero. He's a player, not the GM. There's a reason why teams hire GMs. There's a reason why they're called a GM. LeBron is a forward on the Lakers. I get it. He wants to have some input. He wants to say, how he feels. He likes to express himself. He's always been very vocal. He's always been opinionated. But sometimes you have to, stay out of personnel decisions and you have to let the team executives do their job. You can't worry about what the ownership and what the general managers are doing in the front office. You can only hope that they put the best talent around you. I think LeBron James, I'm not telling him to shut up because everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I think you should just stay out of it, have faith, and have confidence that the front office is going to make the right decisions to put your team in a better position to win.
Well, so let's just be real. The Lakers, like LeBron James, can't trust that they're going to make the right decisions because Rob Palinka made a terrible decision in agreeing to that trade in the first place. And I think that Jeanie Buss is just has no business running the Lakers franchise as well. And I think that the leadership has been completely incompetent. But I also think that LeBron James should just stay out of it. Again, he's lost his cachet, he's lost his capital, in my opinion. It's kind of like when you're president. It's kind of like you're like a lame duck after the election already take place, right? Those last 2 months, you're lame duck. You have no capital. It's kind of like the same thing. LeBron James was on the back end of his career, and now he's going to try to influence what? Like he shouldn't have any influence. Now, I'm sure they're still going to go to him for some thoughts and maybe some suggestions, but he no longer should be allowed to be able to handpick his players.
And Phil Jackson shouldn't definitely be allowed to handpick a coach.
I don't get that with Phil Jackson. And don't forget Rudy Tomjanovich too. Rudy T is also whispering in the ears as well. So it's leadership just needs to be absolved completely. Sell the team, get some new ownership, get some new leadership. Until then, we're just going to continue to be in this mess.
Well, you got to remember, Phil and Jeanie kind of had some. He was trying to put some Zen Master somewhere else. So.
We all know about that, Freddie. Yeah, we know about that.
But listen here, y'all. Man, that kind of thing. Oh, so I don't know if you guys have seen this. There's a little rumor spreading around too that during the combine that Rob Palinka met with Sean Marks during the combine. Nobody knew what the conversation was about, but the speculation is that what do you guys think of a swap? Kyrie Irving for Russell Westbrook.
Um, I mean, I mean, why not? But I mean, at this point, I would rather have Kyrie Irving over Russell Westbrook. But having Kyrie Irving, he's a diva, he's a prima donna. So that wouldn't make me feel that much better, that much better. But I mean, I guess sure he could shoot. At least he could shoot. That's what we need.
Same. He has great ball handling skills. He might be one of the best point guards when he's completely locked in. When he's locked in and when he's laser focused, and I've said this before, Freddie, he might arguably be one of the best point guards in the league. He's definitely in the top 5. Here's the problem that I have with that. If he does come to LA, will he be fully committed to the team? We can't have this guy taking nights off. 1 minute you want to play, and then the next game you want to sit out. You have to be fully committed, especially playing for a Laker organization in a media-driven city, because the media will roast you if you create any problems. And if you act too much like a diva, particularly here in LA, and the fans will quickly run you out of the city if you don't perform well. So, I mean, I'm down for it because, like I said, Kyrie Irving, he's a skilled player. Very, very good at the point guard position. I mean, this guy can, really pile up the stat sheet. We've seen it. We've seen what he can do. He's won a championship with LeBron before. He's played with LeBron in Cleveland. So, I mean, hey, I'm on board with it, but I have my ifs, ands, and buts about it because we all seen him pull the crap where, no, I'm going to sit out. No, I'm not really focused on basketball because I want to raise awareness for racism. I want to, take a political stand against the vaccination. All that stuff created a distraction, and that's something that the Lakers don't need. They need to stay away from those kind of distractions. In other words, to me, Kyrie Irving is a great player. He just comes with too much baggage.
But like we said, the best skill set is availability. He's just not available, so it's hard for me to put him as even a top 5 point guard, honestly.
I definitely agree. So, not gonna drag the show too long, but one last question. You guys are Rob Palinka. You guys are the general manager of the Lakers. You have to make this one decision to get this team back into championship status. You have to make one move. What move are you making?
This is going to be very unpopular. And a lot of people I'm probably going to get roasted for this. But like I said, there needs to be an equilibrium to think about trying to win now and trying to win later. But I think you honestly trade LeBron James. And here's why. Here's why. The man is 38, had 30 points, almost had a triple double. His market is relatively high, modestly high right now. If I'm a team and I know that LeBron James is on available for a trade, I know that the Lakers will at least have the best opportunity to come from a position of strength, allowing them to be able to get some draft capital to replenish those draft picks that they lost. And I think that they can get a decent, one or two, three a D wing players, and then maybe move some things around. And if Anthony Davis is healthy, you never know. But that would be the first one I would do. It's not very popular, but you need capital, you need assets. That would be my first one. I'm sorry, LeBron, but you got to go.
You must not be a LeBron James fan.
To
No,
me,
I'm a LeBron James fan. I'm just speaking as a straight.
it's facts. You trade him now while he still has some value.
Yes, like it's
He's
not
older.
LeBron.
He can walk in a few seats. He can walk in a couple of years, I think, when his contract is up. And he says that wherever his son goes, he's gonna follow. So that tells you a lot right there. That tells you everything you need to know. And now it's probably the time to explore options, to listen to trade offers, to entertain trade offers, and possibly move LeBron James while you still can and get some type of compensation for him.
You have to. You have to. I mean, the Lakers are so strapped from a cap perspective. I think they're going to be in the luxury tax next year. And then on top of that, I mean, they have no youth. They have nothing. I mean, God, it's sad. I don't like the fact that we hamstrung ourselves.
And you might be sorry if LeBron walks, because then what do you have? And like you said, you don't really have any draft capital. You don't really your future.
You have some money to go spend money.
Your future seems bleak. So this is the opportunity right here for the Lakers to move LeBron James.
All right. Well, everybody, this is the episode of Lakers Talk 101. Like I said, you can start seeing the show. It's more stuff start to unwind. Hopefully we'll get another coach, or we'll find out who our coach will be next week or two. I know they said they're big on trying to, get that done before the draft. Hopefully, free agency right around the corner as well. A lot of things about to start picking up, so you'll start seeing us go live a little bit more. I want to thank my brother Jonathan Mathis out there in Southern California. I want to thank our brother Jeffrey out there in Phoenix, Arizona. Um, hey, shout out to everybody. Hit the All Sports All Place Network. Make sure you follow us, like us, share all our content. We appreciate the love. This is the Lake Show. No matter what, you can talk about our team, but at the end of the day, you got to catch up because we got more than you. Just had to throw that out there. But until next time, we are out.
Peace.